I'm so excited. I created a book tag. So exciting. I didn't think I had it in me. This is an original tag. It's my first original tag, and I'm really excited about it. I wish my dog had calmed down. Hi everyone, it's me, Jess. I have been watching so many Women's Prize predictions, Women's Prize long list reactions. I had an idea, and the book prize book tag was born. Without further ado, let's get into the questions for the book prize book tag. The first question is, which book prizes are you familiar with? So I am familiar with the Women's Prize for Fiction, the Giller Prize, which is a Canadian award, the Pulitzer Prize, and the National Book Award, and the Booker Prize, and the International Booker Prize. Those are the ones that I've heard of. The second question, do you follow any of the lists for book prizes? If you do, which ones and why? I have only followed the lists for the Women's Prize, and I have admittedly not followed any of the lists for any of the other prizes. Why? I think that the reason why is because I do think that the Women's Prize list is the most popular prize that I see people talking about on BookTube. So I happen to get into it the way that other booktubers get into it. And the booktubers that I follow tend to talk a lot about the Women's Prize. So, oh, and I did just hear about the Karl Shields Prize as well. So that's another one that I just heard of. Oh, and I was looking up the prize for one of the books that I was going to talk about today and found out about another prize called the Costa Book Awards, which I'd never heard of before. I'm sure there are hundreds of prizes, really. But those are just the ones that I've heard of. I guess I notice who the winners are of these prizes. So I know who the Booker Prize winner has been for the last 3 years, and I know who the Giller Prize winner was this past year, and I know the Pulitzer Prize from last year as well. Question 3, do you make it a point to read books, long or shortlisted, for any of the prizes? Yes, I have been trying to, in the last 2 years, read the books that have been on the list, or at least a few of them. Really more seriously probably this year than any other year. And I've also gone back and read the winning, as I say, I've gone back and read the winners of these different prizes. Question number 4, if you have the books you've read been as good as the prize jury thought? And this is where we get into it. I think the answer to that is probably yes, but I've mostly read winning books. Actually, that answer is not just a total yes. Let's start with the Women's Prize books that I've read. So starting with the Women's Prize, and you can, I mean, for those of you that want to do this tag, you could do this sort of generally. Actually, I should just do this sort of generally, because I don't want people to have to feel like it's too much of an effort. I gotta say, there were a couple of books on the short list for the Women's Prize, and even, I guess, for the Booker Prize. I'll use Burnt Sugar as an example, that I did not get along with. I just didn't like this book. Exciting Times as well. I didn't understand why that was on the prize list. So there's definitely been times and books that were on prize lists where I was scratching my head. And I think that's happening with some people this year with the Women's Prize, although I'm not going to name names. I did really like, for example, Hamnet, which won the Women's Prize, and The Idiot. So this was a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize. So yeah, I guess I would agree. I also read Joshua Cohen's The Netanyahus, which won the Pulitzer Prize. Yeah, winner of the 2022 Pulitzer Prize. I thought it was a good reading experience, but I don't know if it was a Pulitzer Prize winning reading experience. So I don't think the prizes have steered me wrong entirely, but there have been some books that have listed that I wondered about why they were on the list and why they weren't on the list. So that kind of leads into question number 5, which is, are there any books that you have loved that you think should have been awarded a prize, or been shortlisted or longlisted for a prize? Hell yes! Can I get a hell yes? So the book that I looked up that won the, was it the Costa Award I just mentioned? Open Water, which I read and loved. I read it last year. I know a lot of other people loved it. And I'm wondering, why wasn't this selected for a prize? Now, I could be showing some ignorance here and maybe it didn't qualify for these other prizes, but I don't understand why it wouldn't have qualified. So someone can correct me if I'm wrong there. Maybe it didn't qualify for one of the prizes. I'm not extremely versed in the prizes, but that would be an example of a book that I think should have been, maybe not the Pulitzer Prize, but like the Booker Prize or another one of these awards. I think it should have been recognized. Also, I think the death of Vivek Oji, I don't understand why this wasn't listed in 2021. This should have been on the Women's Prize list. I love this book. I love this book. And of course, Bunny, hello. I think Bunny should have won something at some point. 13 Ways of Looking at a Fat Girl. So her debut was shortlisted for the Guller Prize. I think Bunny should have been there. Maybe this is because these aren't their debuts and their debuts were recognized. Maybe that's part of the reason why. And there are probably others. I just wanted to give a couple of examples. So yes, absolutely, there are books that I've loved that I think should have been awarded a prize or should have been listed on some of the lists, long lists or short lists for the prizes. Number 6, have you ever made any predictions for book prizes? Was it difficult to do and how accurate were your predictions? So I've never made a predictions video. I find it a bit intimidating, but I know that there are a lot of booktubers out there who like to make predictions videos. And I thought this year watching the predictions videos and watching the long list get announced was really interesting because I thought there were some things that I was thinking might be listed, and I did talk about in my TBR for Mark Vladimir, which I thought might have been long listed. And I definitely thought Night Crawling by Layla Motley would have been on the list. It was recognized for the Booker. I read it and I loved it so much. I did think that Maggie O'Farrell's A Marriage Portrait would be on the list, and it was. But I was really surprised that Horse wasn't on the list. I don't know what my stats would be on a prediction video. I think it would be really difficult to do. Question number 7. What do you think about book prizes? Do you think they are a good idea? I think they're a really good idea. I think that they're very motivational for authors, and prizes in general are very motivational for people. It gives you something to aim for. And then on the other hand, I don't think they're such a good idea because I think it's really difficult when you say this is the best book in this category. I always have had a problem with that. I'm not saying everybody should get a trophy for participating, but I'm not sure. I think it can, at the same time where it can be very motivational for some people, it can also be very depleting for other people. I think for the community it's great. I think to promote books, it's a wonderful way to promote books, and it's definitely generates a lot of fun and a lot of conversation around the books that end up being selected. I guess I think there should be more prizes and more promotion of prizes. Like I think even myself, I would like to get, I guess, more invested in some of them. So that's my booktube tag. I'm really excited to have had an idea of a way to contribute to the conversation around book prizes. And I'm going to tag a handful of different people who are kind of the heavy hitters on booktube. And I'm really hoping that they're going to go ahead and do my tag and, complete my tag. Not that there's any obligation, obviously, but I don't want to leave anybody out. So if you have a booktube channel and you're watching this and I'm not tagging you, consider yourself tagged. I would love it if people answer these questions. I'm so curious. I know people have thoughts. So I am going to tag, and I mean, this is bold of me. So I hope that you take on my challenge. Shawn at Shawn the Book Maniac I know he just did a video about the new Karl Shields prize. I'll be curious to see what he says. Eric, from Eric Karl Anderson. I know that Eric is a busy person and probably doesn't have time to do my tag, but I'm kind of hoping that he might. I'm going to tag Scott at Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. I'm going to tag Jolene at Bookworm Adventure Girl. I'm going to tag Ariel Bissett. I know she doesn't even do bookish content anymore, but she might. Who knows? I don't know when the last time she did bookish content. I know she has a podcast, so maybe she'll do it for her podcast. Should I tag Leena Norms? Ooh, that would be bold. I'm going to tag Anna Wallace Johnson, who has an amazing channel. Anna, I hope you do my tag. I'd be honored. And I'm going to tag Jen Campbell, probably like the most popular booktuber on BookTube. And maybe she'll do my book tag. I don't even know if she does book tags, so we'll see. And I'm also going to tag Russell at Ink and Paper Blog and Greg at Supposedly Fun. If Greg at Supposedly Fun does my tag, I will die. Okay, so I realize these are people who probably don't watch my channel, but just in case. And then like, yeah, I really hope it catches on, and I would like everybody to complete the tag and have some fun with it. And I hope that people find the questions interesting and that it's a good time. And with that, I'm going to say bye for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. How many book prizes are you familiar with? How many? Which ones? Which book prizes are... I'm still working on it.